it definitely proved by Mahabharata itself that Bhagavan Sri Krishna took avatar at the end of Dwapara. Bharata met Rama and expressed that Dasharatha as positive. But it is outdated. Now scientifically proved there are fossils more than millions and millions of years. We can see from Surya Siddhanta to Aryabhatta and Laghu Bhaskarian and Mahabhaskarian, Siddhanta Shiromani, every astronomer wrote this period.
To all the viewers that have joined us this evening, Sangam Talks welcomes you. Today we talk about the chronological inseparability in date of Mahabharat war. We have our speaker today, Dr. M.L. Rajaji, doing research work in the derivation of historical chronology of Bharat since Mahabharat war up to till date. I welcome you, sir, and I request you to take over from here.
Vanakkam, Namaskar, and greetings to Sangam Talks and also the eminent personalities, youngsters and students who are listening this lecture. These are all my contact numbers, mail ID and my website. I am going to narrate about the basic and vital element which was mostly missed by most of the scholars in the derivation of date of Mahabharata war. It is the basic thing and vital element, but it was missed by most of the scholars on the derivation of Mahabharata war. That element is chronological inseparability. In quantum physics, the nuclear scientists or particle physicists often say, it is a famous quotation, there is an inseparable quantum interconnectedness of all particles, subatomic particles in the universe. That is, subatomic particles is electron, proton, neutron, hadron, tedron, muon, like that, positron, photon, like that, many particles are there in the subatomic world. That is in the quantum world. There exists a interconnectedness between all particles. And that interconnectedness exists at the level of quantum world level, that is quantum world, and it is inseparable. That is the meaning of that famous quotation. In the same way, in history and chronology, there exists an inseparable chronological interconnectedness of all historical events of our nation, that is Bharat. So all historical events are interconnected with one another, and it is inseparable, and it is because of chronology. So there is a chronologically based interconnectedness which is inseparable between the historical events of our nation, Bharat. Why and how it occurs? Why this chronological interconnectedness? Why it is there, and how it is being into an existence? That is three causes for that. One is cause and effect. For example, one historical event may be the cause, which makes the next historical event as an effect. So there is a cause and effect relationship between two historical events. For example, during the Maurya king Asoka's expedition on Kalinga, the Mauryan army took away the Sitalanatha idol worshipped by Kalinga people to their capital Rajagriha, Magadha capital Rajagriha. This is the cause. What is the effect? A few centuries later, when Kalinga king Kharavela became powerful, he did a military expedition on Magadha capital Rajagriha to recover that Sitalanatha idol. So there is a cause, there is an effect. In the same way, there is martial and marital connection. For example, in our nation, during various periods, more than 200 or 300 dynasties ruled our nation, various parts in different periods. But between these two dynasties or many dynasties, there is interconnectedness existed. Either it is due to martial conflict, war, or marital relationship. Sometimes, for example, in the same two dynasties, in the same period, both martial conflict is there, followed by marital relationship. You see, Velvikudi copper plate of Jadala Parandaga Pandya, a Pandya king. Pandya kingdom is the southernmost kingdom of our nation. The king is Jadila Parandaga Pandya. He issued a Velvikudi copper plate. In that, what he mentioned, his father, Pandya king Rajasimha Marvarma, defeated the Western Ganga king. That is, Western Ganga is the present day Mysore, southern Karnataka. Sri Purusha in a war. What happened a few years later? This Rajasimha's son, Jadila Parandaga Pandya, married Sri Purusha's daughter. So there is war, there is followed by marriage. So in that way, all dynasties are interconnected. And there is a fixed interval. See, between two historical events, the number of years difference is fixed. We cannot alter. For example, Jaisalmer Hanuman temple inscription. In that inscription, it mentions from Yudhishthira, the king of Pandava, first king of Pandava Kula, Vikramaditya. Yudhishthira to Vikramaditya is 3044 years. It mentioned. So it is fixed. Why it is fixed? Because it already happened in the past. In the future, if we can alter. In the past, we cannot alter. So we cannot alter even a 1 year. We cannot say it is 3043 or 3045. It is 3044. Sometimes many inscriptions express their period in number of days in Kali Yuga elapsed from the beginning of the Kali. For example, in southern Karnataka, Coorg is an area. These kings issued 3 inscriptions. One historical event. For that, there are 2 subsequent incidents. That first incident is expressed in Kali days, and the second incident also expressed in Kali days. That is number of days elapsed from the beginning of the Kali Yuga, number of Kali days. This is expressed in Kali days. In between these 2 incidents, for example, first incident is the beginning of the construction of the Shiva temple, and the second incident is the completion of that Shiva temple construction. Between these 2, how many number of days elapsed? That mentioned. So even a single day we cannot alter. So it is a fixed interval. So cause and effect, marital and martial connectivity, and fixed interval is the thing that shows that there is a chronological interconnectedness, and it is inseparable between all historical events of our nation. This we have to apply in the derivation of Mahabharata. So the year of Mahabharata, whatever we derive, it should be coherent with the dates of previous or later historical events. It should be in consistency, in coherent with one another, because it has already happened in the past and there is a chronological interconnectivity. So we cannot alter, and we have to show it is consistent and coherent till present day, 2023. Kamanara. We have to show it. Just the derivation of Mahabharata is not sufficient. We have to prove that it is a chronological consistency and coherent with all the historical events till date. That is the essential thing. Because the year of one historical event, for example, Mahabharata, cannot be fixed independent of other events. Because it is dependent, it is connected. So you cannot fix it independent of other historical events. So if you want to move one historical event backwards in the past by 1000 years, we have to move entire historical events which happened later also move backwards or forward. En bloc we have to move. We cannot move a single incident date separately. We have to move all the historical events en bloc. If we move 1000 years, one historical event back, we have to move other historical events also in the same number of years, in the same quantity. That is the, because it is all chronological, inseparability is there. Unfortunately, in the derivation of Mahabharata, this is the most basic and vital element. It is mostly missed. It has not given its due importance. So why it should be given importance, why it is important, why it should be satisfied, I am going to explain in this session with 2 examples. The date of Mahabharata. One is derived by many scholars, date of Mahabharata. One is the most ancient date derived, and another is the recent. Because it is a wide variation, so that it will be easy for me to explain, and also the audience can easily understand. For that purpose, I am taking one date, most ancient date derived so far, that is 5561 BC. And the latest date is dates posterior to 2500 BCE. After that, I am taking as an example. This I can prove through the evidence found in inscription, literature, and almanac. First, literature, Purana. Vishnu Purana, Matsya Purana, Brahmanda Purana, Vayu Purana, and Srimad Bhagavatam. These 5 Purana describe the chronology of Magadha Empire after Mahabharata. So after Mahabharata, Brihadrada dynasty ruled for 1000 years. Pradyodha dynasty ruled for 138 years. And Sishunaga dynasty ruled for 362 years. After that, Mahabhatmananda crowned. So from Mahabharata, that is the birth of Parikshat, to the coronation of Mahabhatmananda, there elapsed 1138 and 362, that is 1500 years. Matsya Purana, the paper manuscript I am having, it mentions Sahasra Panchasada Uttaram. That means 1500. So it is fixed. And it also, this Purana mentioned that Saptarishi Mandala revolute all 27 nakshatra in 2700 years. That is each nakshatra 100 years. So this Purana mentioned during the rule of Andhra Sadhavahana of ruling Magadha Empire, It was in 24th nakshatra from Mahabharata. That is 2400 years. When it reaches again Maka nakshatra, that is 27 nakshatra completed, 28th nakshatra, 2700 to 2800, the Andhra Sadavahana Empire was replaced by Gupta Empire. So that was given by all these Purana. It is a very important thing. And Bhavishya Purana and Jyotirvidabharanam of Kalidasa mention from Yudhishthira to Vikramaditya, 3044 years. And these astronomy texts, Vadeswara Siddhanta, Sisyadi Viridhita Tandra, Mahabhaskariyam, Laghu Bhaskariyam, all these Siddhanta Shiromani mention from Kali Yuga beginning to Salivagana Saka beginning, there elapsed only 3179 years. They are mentioned. And our almanac of our nation. Almanacs are worked in all regions of Bharat and since time immemorial. I will not show all examples, so only one example I will show. This is an Kashmir or North Indian almanac for the date Kali Yuga year 4890. The whole almanac was given in Indian Antiquary, volume 20, pages this. I thank Professor A. Kelhan for his article in that. For the 1793-1794, that is 230 years before present. In that it mentioned, I thank for this copying of the photocopy, either Indian Antiquary and Kelhan. It mentioned, you see, Kali Yuga, Kali 4894, Vikramaditya Sambat 1850, and Saga, Salivagana Saga 1715. So it clearly mentioned that almanac. So from Kali Yuga to Vikrama Sambat, it is fixed 3044 years. And Kali Yuga to Salivagana, 3179 years. That is the inference we got from that almanac. Like that, all almanac mentioned. In Government of India, almanac also mentioned 3044, 3170. And there are inscriptions that were dated in Vikrama and Salivagana era. I will not show all examples, just to understand. It is Idar Museum inscription of Gujarat and Jaisalmer Sri Hanuman Temple inscription. It mentions Yudhishthira Saka, Vikrama Sambat and Salivagana. So based on that, Yudhishthira to Vikrama, it is 3044 years. It is Yudhishthira means Jayabhidya Yudhishthira Saka. That is equal to Kali Yuga. Both are same. And Yudhishthira to Salivagana, 3179 years. More than 20,000 inscriptions are dated in Vikrama Sambat year. In the same way, Paparambakam, Bhavani, and Ayodhyapuri inscription mention Kali Day and Salivagana. So Kali Yuga to Salivagana is 3179 years. More than 40,000 inscriptions are dated in Salivagana Saka. So inscriptions, literature, almanac, all three things mentioned the same 3044 and 3179. Everything is corroborative, not even a single year altered. You have to understand. So if you apply this data to the date derived as year of Mahabharata war 5561, what will be the result? We will see. So this is the date derived by that scholar, two scholars, 5561. For them, after this 36 years, Kali Yuga began, they mentioned. So 5525. So Brihadrata dynasty 1000 years, Pradyodha dynasty 188 years, and Sishunaga dynasty beginning and end and Nanda begin 362. So it is 1500 years. And Andhra Sadavagana middle 2400, end is 2700 to 800. And Vikrama Samvat, it after this Kali Yuga beginning 3044, Jayabhidya Yudhishthira Saka. And Salivagana Saga 3179. This I all explained. So if we apply this date, what will happen? Then this Sisunaga dynasty or Nanda dynasty begin, Sisunaga dynasty end at 4061. So because we got to minus 5561 minus 1500. So 4661 BCE. That is more than 6,000 years. After Nanda 100 years, Maurya dynasty, Chandragupta Maurya and Ashoka came. So this, as per according to this period, Chandragupta Maurya will be 5,900 years before. Ashoka will be 5,750 years before. It is not acceptable. And also Andhra Sadavagana, they ruled around 2761 BC, come to end. This Andhra Sadhavahana, they are contemporary to Western Satraps. That is Saka people. Saka people came from Parasika. After Cyrus II, who started his era in 550 BCE. After that, this Nakapana and Rudradama one came and occupied Gujarat and Malvar. There is a conflict, war between Andhra Sadhavahana and this Saka people. They came after the period of Cyrus. Cyrus started his era 550 BC. But if you apply this date, then Nakapana and Rudradama, they were 4,700 years before. It is not 2,500 or 400. So there is a large conflict is there. In the same way, Vikrama Samvat, it began in 2481 BC, 4,500 years. So if it is there, now the government of India and Almanac should say that the year of Vikrama Samvat is 4,504. But if we see Almanac and Government India record, it is 2080 only. In the same way, Salivagana Saga, it is 4,369th year. It is not correct. It is 1940. So there is a gross incoherence with this date. So it is not acceptable. Then coming to other inscriptions, that is inscriptions of Assam, Nidanpur, Dupi copper plate, Nalanda clay plate, and Bhattara inscription supported by literature and Aihole inscription. I also one after another. Nidanpur copper plate inscription issued by King Bhaskara Varma. His other title is Kumara. He is the king of Kamarupa, that is Assam. He mentioned in that his genealogy, his Vamsa. He came in the genealogy of King Naraka, son of Vishnu and Bhuma Devi. We know Deepavali we are celebrating. So in that genealogy came Bhagadatta, who fought with Vijaya, that is Arjuna in Mahabharata. So this started from Mahabharata and Puspadatta and Vajradatta. This Arjuna fought with Bhagadatta. This Bhagadatta is mentioned in Mahabharata text of Vedavyasa, Drona Parva 27th Adhyaya. So this literature at the Nidanpur inscription corroborates with each other. Same way they express. And this Nidanpur inscription mentioned that after 3,000 years, many kings ruled. The name is not given in that inscription. After that, King Pushyavarma and other kings ruled, and 13th king, or from the beginning Mahabharata, 16th king, name is the King Bhaskara Varma, who issued this Nidanpur copper plate inscription. And this is the inscription, I thank ASI. And this is Dupi inscription of Bhaskara Varma, I thank ASI. Nalanda clay plate of Bhaskara Varma. All these three things express the genealogy of Bhaskara Varma, the Vamsa of the Bhaskara Varma in the same way. There is not even a single difference. And a life of Huan Shuang, written by Simon Huai Lai, the disciple of Huan Shuang, and the CUK, written by Huan Shuang himself, mentioned that Harsasiladitya, who is from Pushyabudhi dynasty, who ruled from Staneswara, he and this Bhaskara Varma are contemporary. Both are in the same period. And what is the period of Huan Shuang? As per Chinese record, as per his descendancy, as per the records of his grandfather, his father, it is he came to Bharat between 630 to 645 BC, as per Chinese records, as per these polls. So we cannot argue. And Aihole inscription of issued during the period of Pulikesi II of Western Chalukya of Badami. It mentions in date Kali Yuga 3785, Saka 556 after Mahabharata. It clearly mentions the regnal period, proves regnal period of Pulikesi II as 610 to 642 common era. And it mentions that this Harsasiladitya of Staneswara, as mentioned in the other previously by Yuan Shuang, he was defeated by Pulikesi II. This Pulikesi II, Harsasiladitya, and the Yuan Shuang all are contemporary. This same 6 copper plate also of Western Chalukya Badami mentioned in the same. And this is Karsa Charita, a text, ancient text literature written by Vanabhatta, who is the Prime Minister of Harsasiladitya. In that, in the chapter 7, he mentioned that Hamsavega is the messenger from Bhaskara Varma, who issued a Nidanpur copper plate. He met Harsasiladitya And this Kamsavega mentioned the genealogy of Bhaskaravarma in the same way. And he met in the early part of Harsasiladitya rule. Harsasiladitya period is 606 to 647. So Kamsavega would have met King Harsasiladitya around 610 Common Era. At that time, Bhaskaravarma was ruling Assam. So in the year 610 Common Era, there elapsed, as per Nidhanpur copper plate inscription, 3000 years and 3 plus 13, that is regnal period of 16 kings. From Mahabharata war to 610 Common Era. So Mahabharata period to 610 Common Era, 3000 years and 16 kings ruling period. I have explained. So if you applied this data to the year 5561, what will happen? So Mahabharata to Bhaskaravarma period 610 Common Era, 3000 years plus 3 kings and 13 kings, 16 kings ruling period. So it is BCE, it is Common Era. So we have to add, it comes to this year. So from this, if you want to know 16 kings ruling period alone, we have to subtract 3000. Then it comes to 3171. This is for 16 kings. Then for average, one king is 198 years. Is it possible for a king to live more than 200 years, to rule 198 years? Suppose if a king ruled 150 years, the other king would have ruled 250 years. Then only average 198 years come. So the life expectancy of maximum expectancy is still 120 years. So it is not acceptable. There is no logic in it. It is absolutely wrong. So there is no chronological coherence with other date for this 5561. Then coming to Bhattara inscription issued by King Govinda Kesavadeva, whose ruling period is 990 to 1040. During this period, he issued Bhattara inscription. Suppose in the middle period of his rule, he issued means, then he issued Bhattara inscription in 1015 Common Era. In that we mentioned that the date of Bhattara inscription is 4151 years from the era of the first king of Pandava dynasty, that is Yudhishthira. From Yudhishthira to Bhattara, there are 4151 years. That is the inference we got from Bhattara. I thank ISA for using this photocopy. And what is the history of Gaur kingdom in which Govinda Kesava Deva belongs? It was started in 630 Common Era by Gurak, and 11th king is Govinda Kesava Deva. During the rule of 21st king, the Bengal Sultan Samsuddin ordered his nephew Sikandar Khan to invade Silhat, and on success, Sikandar was appointed as the first wazir of Silhat. Silhat is now in Bangladesh. So from Bhattara, if we say 1015 Common Era, and this end, the Sikandar Khan and Samsuddin Feroz period is 1330. So only 288. Then if we apply all these data again, the Bhattara inscription is 4151 years from Kali Yuga or Jayabhi Yudhishthira Saga, and 288 years elapsed from Bhattara to Samsuddin and Sikandar Khan rule. So what is 4151 plus 288? 4439 years. So we have to subtract this from 5525 to know the period of Samsuddin or Sikandar Khan. Then it comes to 1086 BCE. That is more than 3000 years. We know who is Samsuddin, who is Sikandar Khan, and when this from Saudi Arabia came to India, during which period, we all know. So we cannot put even before Christ, 3000 years, 1086 BC. Actually, it is 719 years. So it is absolutely wrong. So it is not acceptable. So there is no chronological coherence with this date, as per Bhattara. Then coming to other inscriptions in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu state, Aihole inscription I already explained. I totally explained. He is contemporary to Pallava king Mahendravarma and Narasimhavarma, whose period we know, and he is contemporary to Harsasiladitya and also Yuan Swang. So these things I already explained. This is the Aihole inscription photocopy. I thank ASA for both photocopies. And other Chalukya inscriptions also mentioned, I have already explained. Rashtrakuta inscriptions also explained the regnal period of Pulikesi II at this, because they express in Sakha era, both Chalukya and Rashtrakuta. So based on that, we know the Pulikesi II regnal period, ruling period. And Pallava king inscriptions also mentioned and prove that period of Pulikesi II is this 610 to 642. And Anamalai inscription, it is a Pandya inscription. Pandya kingdom is the southernmost kingdom of our nation. Madurai is the capital, southern part of Tamil Nadu. It was issued during the rule of King Jadila Parandaga Pandya. Date is Kali Yuga Samvat 3871. This is the photocopy of the inscription. This is mentioned Kali Yuga. And Gramam inscription is the inscription issued by the Senapati of Parandaga Chola Chakravarti, the Sola kingdom, Sola king, the great Sola kingdom. Chola king is the eastern part of Tamil Nadu. That is Delta of Kaveri. It is mentioned its date Kali Yuga 4044. Interestingly, it mentioned Kali days. Number of days elapsed since the beginning of Kali Yuga is 14,77,037. This is the inscription. You can see Kali Yuga in Tamil. And Sri Mushram inscription is issued during the period of the grandson of Parandaga Chola Chakravarti, that is Chundra Chola Chakravarti. Date is Kali Yuga 4060. I have used that inscription. This is the inscription. I take a photocopy and use it in my book front cover page. And Uyakondan Tirumalai inscription, Kali Yuga 4080. It is issued by another grandson of Parandaga Chola Chakravarti, that is Uttama Chola. And Tiruvadai Marudur inscription, it is 4083 of Kali Yuga. So the period of this later Chola kings, the earlier kings of later Chola kingdom, is further proved by the Rajendra Chola, Rajaraja Chola, Kulothunga Chola 1 and Kulothunga Chola 3 inscriptions at Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Pondicherry, where the date is expressed in Sagayara. So it is. So if we apply this data, what will happen? Before that, I want to stress one important. Why there is chronological interconnectivity? This is Chalukya rulers, Pulikesi II, who issued Aihole inscription, and this is Pandya, Maravarman Rajasimha, father of Jadila Parandaga Pandya, who issued Anamalai inscription 3871. Between this 136 years, 6 kings, so 23 years average acceptable. He defeated Kirtivarman II at a war at Mumbai. And this Maravarman defeated the Pallava king Nandivarma II in a war. And this Rashtrakuda king Dandi Durga is a friend of Nandivarma. This Dandi Durga in turn defeated Kirtivarma II, and that was the end of Chalukya Badami rule and beginning of Rashtrakuda rule in the Deccan, in Karnataka and Maharashtra. And this is Chola. This Chola, the second king, later Chola Aditya I, defeated Nirupatunga and Aparajita, the kings of Pallava, at Tirupuram Bayam near Tanjavur. So that was the end of Pallava dynasty and beginning of the growth of Chola dynasty. And Parandaga Chola Chakravarti, whose inscription is Gramam at 4044, his son Aditya fought with Rashtrakuda at Takkola. And this Maravarman Rajasimha, he defeated Western Ganga king Sri Purusha. After that, Jadila Parandaga married. So you see, all 6 dynasties are interconnected, interrelated, interwoven. Their period and their historical events are inseparable. So I want to stress this chronological inseparability through this flowchart. And if we apply all this data to 5561, then Aihole inscription is at the period of 1790 BC. That is, Pulikesi ruled 3800 years before. That is, Yuan Shuang from China, he traveled India 1790 BC. His genealogy, descendancy, great grandfather period, it proves 630, Common Era. So there is a difference of 630 plus 1800, 2400 years more than thing. So even this date is not only fit with Indian chronology, it also not fit with Chinese chronology. And Anamalai inscription, the Pandya king ruled some 3700 years, and these Chola people, they ruled 3500 to 3400. That is not correct. We know when Brihadiswara temple was constructed 1000 years before. So Uttama Chola, after Uttama Chola, Rajaraja Chola, so he only constructed Tanjavur Brihadiswara temple. So if we apply this data, then from Uttama Chola to present day 2023, there elapsed 3464 years. No, definitely Chola didn't rule 3400 years before. It is actually 1040 years. And Rajaraja Chola period is 1039 years, 37 years, not 3461. So it is totally not acceptable. It is not correct. So there is this date, they have no chronological preference with other dates. Then coming to inscriptions of Kadamba, Hoysala, and Kakatiya. Kadamba kings of Goa. The earlier name of Goa is Gopakapattanam. They ruled region around Goa, Karnataka, and Maharashtra adjacent area. They are contemporary and subordinate to Western Chalukya of Kalyani. They ruled after Rashtrakuta dynasty. So they issued many inscriptions in Kali date. So based on those inscriptions, the Kadamba king of Goa, they ruled Konkan region around Kali 4248 to 4357. In the same way, Hoysala kingdom, they issued many inscriptions that are dated in Kali Yuga. So they ruled Karnataka state, Mysore part of Karnataka state, southern part, and Kongu region and adjacent parts of Tamil Nadu state. They ruled before Vijayanagara Empire. The inscriptions, Kali Yuga inscriptions show that their period is around Kali 4336 to 4442. And the inscription of Kakatiya kingdom. Kakatiya kingdom is existed ruling around Warangal of Telangana and northern part of Andhra Pradesh. It is before Vijayanagara Empire. So their inscription, Rudradeva 2 inscription, Kali 4420. There are more than 20 inscriptions of Pratap Rudradeva are there, expressed in Salivagana Saka. So it shows that this Kakatiya kingdom ruled around Kali 4420. If you apply the data of 3 dynasties to the date 5561, what will happen? So then Kadamba dynasty ruled 4300 average. Then their period is 5525 minus 4300. It is 1225 BCE. That means 3250 years before Hoysala. It is not correct. Kadamba. And Hoysala period is 1125 BC. You see, last king of Hoysala, Veeraballala III, was defeated by Madurai Sultan. After that, some period of Sultan rule in Tamil Nadu. After that, Vijayanagara recaptured Tamil Nadu and eliminated the Sultan rule. That is the history. So, they are contemporary to Mysore Sultan. We cannot say Mysore Sultan existed in India, in Tamil Nadu, some 3125 years. Definitely not. This Madurai Sultan, who we know. In the same way, Kakatiya, this dynasty ended because of the invasion of Alauddin Khilji's Senapati, Malik Kafur, and Kyazuddin Tughlaq's Senapati, Jauna Khan. And we cannot put them in 1105, 3100 years. This Alauddin Khilji and Tughlaq period, we know who they are, at what period they roam. So we cannot, it is totally wrong. So it is also not acceptable. So there is no chronological preference. And coming to Vijayanagara, Tanjavur, Maratha, and Mysore. Vijayanagara Empire, we know there are more than 60 inscriptions that were dated in Kali Yuga and more than 60 inscriptions that were dated in Saka and Salivagana era. So their period we absolutely know. And after Sadasiva rule, it was divided into 3 kingdoms: Penukonda, Srirangapattanam, and Sandrakiri. So their regnal period, Vijayanagara Empire, and later 3 division is 4443 to 4839 Kali Yuga. And Tanjavur Maratha, it was started by the Maratha king, Bhonsle dynasty, who is a half brother of Shivaji, Chhatrapati Shivaji. We know the period of Chhatrapati Shivaji is contemporary with Aurangzeb. So they issued many inscriptions in Kali Yuga. So these things show that their period, Tanjavur Maratha kingdom, is Kali 4784 to 4993. And Mysore kingdom. Mysore kingdom came to in existence after the completion of Vijayanagara Empire. After that only Mysore, they ruled Mysore and around Karnataka and some parts of Kongu region of Tamil Nadu, Bangalore and all. They issued many inscriptions. So their period is from Kali 4780, and the Mysore kingdom was a princely state even during British period. So up to 1947 it exists. So if we apply this data, then Vijayanagara Empire, average we can take 4550. Then from 5525, if we minus 4550, then Vijayanagara Empire ruling period was 975 BCE. That is more than 3000 years. We know Vijayanagara period, they are contemporary to Alauddin Khilji and Gyazuddin Tughlaq. So it is not acceptable. What is the period we know? 1300, 400. Just 600, 700 years before. Not 3000. Alauddin Khilji and Ghazuddin Tughlaq. So in the same way, Mysore Kingdom, 625 BC. They are contemporary to British. So it is not acceptable. We cannot put British 2600 years. And Tanjavur Maratha, they are also contemporary to British. We cannot put them 2600 years before British. So it is also not acceptable. So in this way also for these three kingdoms data also not fit with 5561 BC. Then coming to last part, I want to explain up to independence. That's why I included this. There is an interesting inscriptions also there. The Mughal, Sultan, British and Dutch French rule inscriptions. First, Aurangzeb ruling period. There is an inscription in Tamil Nadu that dated Kali Yuga 4800 and Saga 1621, and it mentions the Mughal king Aurangzeb name as the ruler of Delhi. So during Aurangzeb rule, the Kali Yuga date is 4800. And Sultan of Kashmir, Jain-ul-Abidin. During his ruling period, there is an inscription at Bhubaneswari in Srinagar district, Jammu Kashmir. Its date is Kali Yuga 4530. So in that period, Jain-ul-Abidin ruled Kashmir. And there is an inscription during the rule of Bijapur Sultan, Ibrahim Shah, Adil Shahi dynasty. The date is Kali Yuga 4770. So at that period, Ibrahim Shah ruled Bijapur. And this is the interesting inscription. There is an inscription from Telangana in Nalgonda district in Panagalla. There are three eras mentioned: Kali Yuga, Saga era, and astonishingly Hijri era also. So Kali 4989, Hijri 1306. So Hijri we know, the Mecca to Medina, that pilgrimage, that Hijra. When it happened, we know. During whose period it happens. So if you apply this data to the Kali Yuga Mahabharata date as derived by some scholars as 5561, what will happen? Then 5561 BCE Mahabharata war. Then from that 25 years, 36 years gone, Kali Yuga beginning 5525. So Kali Yuga date is 4989. You have to subtract, then this date of this inscription is 536 BCE. At that time, Hijri year is 1306. So we have to add 536 with 1306. So Hijri or Hijra began in 1842 BCE. 3900, nearly 3900 years. When Hijra started, when this Mecca to Medina pilgrimage happened, we all know in Saudi Arabia. So this chronology, this date is not chronologically fit with even Saudi Arabian chronology, not only Bharat or Chinese. So it is not fit with the Saudi Arabian chronology also. And this is the inscription during British rule. There is an inscription in Chennai, Nungambakam, and it is on the pillar of the astronomical observatory, that is Madras Observatory. It was constructed under supervision of one astronomer, Michael Topping, in the year 1792 Common Era. It mentions Kali Yuga date 4893. So at that period, British ruled Chennai. That was the inference from this inscription. And there is an inscription during Dutch rule. Tarangambadi and other area, Nagapattan area, they ruled. It was issued during the rule of Dutch governor Billy Singhi. Date is 4875. So at that period, Dutch was ruling Tarangambadi adjacent area. It is at Sri Naganatha Swami Temple, Nagapattanam, in Tamil Nadu state, eastern part of Tamil Nadu, seashore. And the inscription during French rule also there. It is Sri Kameswara Swami Temple, Villunur, Pondicherry. Pondicherry, we know they ruled by French. It was issued during the period of French governor Léonce Louvière. Kali year is 4982. At that time, Pondicherry was ruled by French. So if we apply all these 7 data to the date 5561, what will happen? We have to analyze. So Kashmir Sultan 4530. Then it means Kashmir Sultan ruled 995 BCE. If it is this date, we have to accept that Kashmir Sultan ruled Kashmir 3000 years before. When Hijra happened, when that religion came to India, that and all we know. Then how can Kashmir Sultan ruled before Christ? 3000 years. And Bijapur Sultan ruled 808 BC, 2800. And Aurangzeb ruled Delhi 2725 years. He is contemporary to Chhatrapati Shivaji. We know this period. After that, the Mughal Empire collapsed. And Dutch ruled 650 BCE, British ruled 682 BCE, French ruled 543 BCE. So all these Europeans ruled respective parts in India, in Bharat, some 2600 years to 2500 years before. See, 1000 years before, we don't know the history of Dutch, British, France. Even that name of the country did not exist. Only Roman ruled all these years from 2000. 2000 years before, we don't know the history of even any part of the Europe. Then how can we accept that Dutch, British, France ruled parts of India and they came to India and ruled some parts of India some 2500 years? It is not acceptable. So based on Kashmir Sultan, Bahmani Sultan, Mughal and these Europeans, it is not acceptable. So it is not coherent with even European chronology. We have seen it is not coherent with Saudi Arabian, Chinese and now European chronology. So it is not acceptable. So it is not coherent. So we cannot accept this date. So on concluding this, I want to say that in the earlier parts, Andhra Sadhavahana, they are contemporary to Cyrus era, that is Parasiga ruler. So even that Parasiga, Iran chronology also, it is not coherent. So earlier part also, it is not coherent and correct. This is the latter part, I will show in the next slide. So in the latter part, in this I have shown 6 dynasties. Brihadrada, Pradyodha, Sisinaga, Nanda, and Vikrama, Salivagana, Andhra Sadhavahana. I show 6 data I will show. Here I will show 17 data for Hijris, 18 data. This is Chalukya, this is Assam, Kamarupa, Pandya, this is Chola, this is Gaur of Bangladesh, this is Kadamba of Goa, Hoysala of Mysore, Kakatiya of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Vijayanagara, and Kashmir Sultan, Bahmani Sultan, Maratha, Mughal, Tanjavur Maratha, Mysore, British, Dutch, France. All these data, 18 data, previously 6 data. So 24 dynasties data, it is not coherent. So totally it is not acceptable. That is the inference we got from all these data regarding the date 5561. There is no chronological coherence and consistency with the later historical. Then coming to the next date, 2500, we will just 2 slides only. So if we apply 2500 BC, any date after that, some people are arguing it is not like that, it is after 2500 BC only. So for this 36 years is the gap between Mahabharata, minimum 36 years. So we can say Kali Yuga beginning 2464. If we apply this date to Vikrama Samvat and Salivagana, from Kali Yuga beginning 3044 is the Vikrama Samvat, 3179 is the Salivagana Saga. If we apply then Vikramaditya ruled Ujjain 580 Common Era, just 1500 years. And Salivagana ruled 715, 2300 years. Then if it is there, then our almanac and Government of India records should mention the present Vikrama Samvat year is 1443, but they mention 2000. So it is not correct. And Salivagana Saga, it should be 1308, but actually it is 1945. Any almanac or Government of India record you can verify. So it is not coherent with the earlier part of the historical events also. This date. Any date, even 2500 is not coherent, means any date after that is definitely not coherent. And later part, how it is it coherent? This 2500 or any later date. These are all 17 dynasties I am saying. Then it means this Chalukya kingdom ruled 1271 era. He is contemporary to Pallava. Pallava are anterior to Chola. We have seen Chola Brihadiswara temple constructed 1000 years. Before that is the Pallava. So we cannot put Chalukya at 1271, just 700 years. It is not correct. In the same way, Kadamba, 1836, 300 years. Definitely not. And the most important thing is Vijayanagara. At present, 2086 is the ruling period of Vijayanagara. That is, it is a middle period if you take Just we are under the rule of Vijayanagara. At present, Vijayanagara Empire only ruling southern part of Tamil Nadu, whole southern part of Bharat. And this Bahmani Sultan, Kashmir Sultan, Aurangzeb, and Mysore, Tanjavur Maratha, and Dutch, British, France, they will come and rule India in the future only. See, this Mughal, Aurangzeb will rule after 300 years. And Dutch will rule after 400 years. British will rule 400 years. And French will rule 1500 years. They will come in the future. We cannot read them in the history books. That is the thing we will apply if we date 2500 or any later date. So at present, 2023 will be here. So Vijayanagara Empire started ruling Deccan, and Bahmani Sultan ruling northern part of Deccan, and Alauddin Khilji and Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq is ruling northern India, Delhi. And it is not Narendra Modi ji ruling. This is the inference we got if we take this. So it is totally incoherent and not touched. So I will show that 75 years of independence, 150 years of foreign colonial rule, British, and 100 years of Maratha Empire, 300 years of Vijayanagara Empire, and 160 years of Hoysala, Kakatiya, later Pandya. Contemporary, they ruled different areas, and 300 years of later Chola Empire, and 300 years of Pallava Empire before that. And they are contemporary to Chalukya Badami, after that Rashtrakuta, after that Chalukya Kallani, each 200 years, so 600, 300, 300, 600. This is the chronology from Aihole inscription to present date. So if we apply, this is the date of Aihole inscription, then Kali Yuga date will be around 5120. Because I have given round figure only, not approximate. And this is 4044 is the Chola Empire. So later Chola Empire, so we got to minus 300. So out of instead of 600, we got to add 300. So it also comes 5129. So this shows that present Kali Yuga, what it Almanac and our Government of India mentioned, 5123 years before present, is absolutely correct as per this chronology of later historical events. So Mahabharata Kurukshetra war was fought just a few decades, that is 36 plus years before Kali Yuga beginning, as per the internal evidence of Mahabharata text of Vedavyasa and Purana. So the date of Kurukshetra war should be 5123 plus 36 plus means 5160 years before present. That is around 3140 BCE. This date only chronologically will be coherent and consistent with all the later historical events, even up to present day. And there are many inscriptions that were dated before 1500 years. Kali Yuga 2000, like that many inscriptions I have found out. One inscription on copper plate is Kali Yuga 2000, that is 3123 years before present. And there are paper manuscripts which shows that the dates of Kali Yuga in 600, 1036, that is 4500 years before date is also there in the Dr. Francis Buchanan's text. So there are Kali Yuga dates even 4500 years before present. That is the inscription, copper plate and literature. So in this session, the importance of chronology, I have explained and correctly, absolutely proved. It is proved through literature, inscriptions, and almanacs. And it will be helpful, and it should be applied definitely without compromise in fixing the date of Mahabharata war. So without this chronological coherence, without linking date of Mahabharata war with the date of other later historical events, without applying this chronological inseparability, if any scholar derive the Mahabharata date, then the date is incomplete, that procedure itself is incomplete, inadequate, unjustifiable, and unacceptable. That is a strong conclusion we come. So there are inscriptions in our nation more than 2 lakhs. Maybe another 1 lakh would have not copied. And they were issued by various dynasties and kings of various regions, that is spreading from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, Gujarat to Assam, all parts of our nation, and over a period of 3,100 years. And they were issued consistently and continuously. They prove there exists an inseparable chronological interconnectedness. And there are thousands and thousands of literature, they also prove chronological interconnectedness. So we cannot just push away this more than 2 lakhs evidence for the sake of only one event. That is Arundhati Vasishtha or any other. We cannot say our ancestors are fools or false believers. We cannot just omit this more than 2 lakhs in evidences for the sake of only one evidence or one point. We cannot say evidence because I think it is only a ritual phenomenon. It's not an astronomical phenomenon. So we ought to give importance to these 2 lakhs inscriptions and thousands of literature in deriving the Mahabharata date. Hence, Mahabharata date on fixing, one cannot fix unilaterally independent of other historical dates. So, because there is inseparable chronological interconnectedness. All historical events are interconnected, interlinked, interwoven, and inseparable. So, any date of Mahabharata war should be coherent and consistent, chronologically fit with the previous or at least later historical events because of this chronological inseparability. That should be applied in the derivation of Mahabharata date.
Two questions. Mahabharata and Krishna. We cannot think of Mahabharata and Krishna without Dwapara Yuga.
Yeah.
So how do you relate your chronological sequence? What is Dwapara Yuga, in terms of number of years and all? I still don't understand what is Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga and all. Second
Okay,
question is, there was one Dr. Oak, Nilesh Oak, and he has made a lot of presentations. He also has given the time of Mahabharata and Ramayana, epics or whatever it is. So does it match with your findings?
First, Dwapara Yuga, I answer, sir. There are 4 yuga in a Mahayuga: Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali Yuga. In Mahabharata text in Sandhi Parva, it mentioned that Mahavishnu himself explained to Narada that he will come as an avatara Sri Krishna at the end of Dwapara Yuga, that is Dwapara Kali Yuga junction, to eliminate Kamsa and other Rakshasa. This is the thing. So it definitely proved by Mahabharata itself that Bhagavan Sri Krishna took avatar at the end of Dwapara Yuga. And this 6 prana, Vayu Prana, Matsaya Prana, Brahmanda Prana, Vishnu Prana, Bhagavatam, and Brahma Prana mentioned when Sri Krishna left the world to Vaikunta, on the very same day only Kali Yuga began. So, Sri Krishna left the world before Kali Yuga entered. Kali Yuga began. So, his period is at the last period, fag end of Dwapara Yuga. And this Prana mentioned that Brahma told Sri Krishna that he came to earth some 125 years before. So, 126th year before Kali Yuga began, he born. That is the inference from Prana. So, this is Dwapara Yuga. Dwapara Yuga is much better than Kali Yuga, as per Dharma. But Kali Yuga is the most favorable Yuga. Because in Kali Yuga, you did not do tapas. Suppose if you do tapas 10 minutes, in Satya Yuga, it is equal to 10 years of tapas. And here, if you do Bhakti Yoga and a Nama Japa, you will be easily attain Mukti. So, this is better Yuga than any other thing. That's why we born in this Yuga. We are fortunate to born in Kali Yuga. The second question is, so far I explained the Nilesh Oak's date only, 5561.
Okay.
I didn't want to mention his name. Not only Nilesh Oak, another doctor also fixed this date, 5561. So why I take that date is it is the most ancient date for Mahabharata. So I want to show chronological inseparability, taking 5561 as example, and I proved more than 24 evidence that there is gross chronological incoherence and inconsistency is there with the date 5561. It is based on a single pillar, Arundhati Vasishtha. It is not astronomical phenomenon, it is a ritual phenomenon. If you read Mahabharata and Srimad Bhagavata and Ramayana, why Arundhati has to go in front of Vasishtha? Because when there is Pitru Karya, when there is more death and we have to do last rituals, ladies should go first. In Ramayana, Bharata met Rama and expressed that Dasharatha has fasted. So Rama asked Lakshmana to prepare for last rituals and she instructed that Sita Mata should go first. And in Mahabharata text and also Bhagavatam, it mentioned after the war is over, Draupadi and other people, ladies only go first to the Ganga. So Arundhati will go first because there will be a lot of death. So that's why Vyasa warned Dhritarashtra, don't do war. There will be more Pitrukarya. Death will be there. Then ladies will go. Even the praiseworthy of Arundhati has to go in front of Vasishtha. So he is going in front. Like that. It is a ritual phenomenon. It is not astronomical phenomenon. Just for a single point, we cannot omit more than 2 lakhs evidence. That is my conclusion.
My
Thank you, ma'am.
question is relating to again chronology, however, relating to the archaeological aspect. So it's a bit loose questions about 2 events which I would like to ask you, and I'm just inquiring loosely your views on it. One is the late Harappan stage, and the second is the flooding event, which is related to the beginning of the Kali Yuga. Because this date is quite fixed, actually, even in Tamil calendar and in the Kashmir Abda. It is, which you have elaborately shown also, that it is consistent with all the inscriptions which follow from all the successive rulers. So how does it relate, first of all, to the end of the Harappa and the flooding event, which is related even to Dwarka?
Okay,
Which
ma'am.
can, at least in terms of archaeology, you can, I mean, reasonably certainly associate it with the end of the with the beginning of the Kali Yuga.
This Harappan civilization ended because of the tectonic shift. The Sivalik hill range raised, so this Satluj river joined Sindhu river and Yamuna joined Ganga river instead of joining Saraswati river. There is now, these people are calling Saraswati Sindhu civilization because more than 2,600 sites are excavated. All are both on the banks of Saraswati river instead of Sindhu. If you take Sindhu, it is always almost one side on the eastern side. If you take Saraswati as center, that is on both sides of their civilization. Why Saraswati become dried? That is the end of late Harappan or early Harappan. So, because of this tectonic shift and the rise of Sivalik range of hills, so that Yamuna and Satluj diverted their flow and joined another rivers, Sindhu and Ganga. So, Saraswati got dried. That is the cause for the end of Harappa civilization, even including late Harappa. Because there is a dried up, they shifted. Sometimes there is flood in Saraswati also before the drying. So at that time they shifted minimally, but when Saraswati was totally dried, they shifted towards east or other area. That we also. And Dwaraka, it clearly mentioned in Mahabharata text also that after the departure of this Sri Krishna to Vaikunta, because when Sri Krishna want to go to Dwaraka from Mathura, he requested this Samudra Raja to give space. And he told, when I leave the world, you can take that space again. So on leaving of the Sri Krishna, there is a flooding of Dwaraka and there is submergence of Dwaraka. We cannot relate it is an entire world there was a flood. It may be a local area. And based on geology, we cannot estimate when Dwaraka flooding happened. Because the geologist will give a range of 1 to 2 millennium, that is 1,000 years. So we cannot fix a date 3047 BCE because it is 1,000 years period. So 3047 is the success rate is 0.1% only. So based on geology also, we cannot fix when Dwaraka was flooded. Only literature evidence is there. Scientifically, we cannot put. And archaeologically, so far, archaeology has not done their work in a fast manner. Now, Sinoli and Manipur, something in UP, they found out some copper weapons that was 2000 BC before. In Senoli, they found out a horse riding chariot, 2000. Previously, BP Lal Sar and other people told Mahabharata war happened 800 BC. Now they are pushing back to more than 2000 BC. So slowly, archaeologists are moving back the date of Mahabharata war. So if they did more work in Kurukshetra, Dwaraka, and Hastinapura, the date will come exactly. So there are a lot of things has to do in archaeology. That is, we are lacking. That's why the dates are not matching in archaeology. But inscriptions are there, strong evidence are there. Thank you, madam, for asking the question.
Just to add to that itself, so you are suggesting that there would have been a minor flooding event which marks the beginning of Kali Yuga, or when the sea came over Dwarka?
It may be a local event, most probably because what Mahabharata Sri Krishna told to Samudra Raja, you can take back that land. That land alone he told to take back, not all other land in the world. So I think based on that, it is a local event. It is not a generalized event throughout our India, throughout Asia like that. It may be a localized event, and based on geology, we cannot fix the exact time. Geology will give range only 1,000 years, third millennium to third to fourth millennium like that. They only they will explain, because 0.1 millimeter deposit it denotes 1,000 years for them. That is the defect in geology.
You set the record straight very thoroughly regarding the newfangled theory of the 6th millennium BC. But nevertheless, the question remains open about the actual date of the Mahabharata war. I am not entirely clear about, what your theory about that is. You must be aware that a number of people, including lately Jijit Nadumuri Ravi, in his book Geography of the Ramayana, have insisted on a date for the Mahabharata war of the first half of the 2nd millennium BC. In fact, he says 1793, I think BC. There are also two other astronomers who say 1504 or 1478. But at any rate, that time bracket. So in the declining years of the Harappan civilization, and Ramayana fairly shortly before that, which is interesting because you see many people assume that the Dwapara Yuga is very long, like twice as long as the Kali Yuga, so 864 years. So that Rama, the Treta Thakur, must have been like 900,000 years ago, and Krishna 5,000 something years ago. Whereas, you see, this is based on the assumption that the 4 world ages, which is a very old pre-Vedic doctrine that we also found in Scandinavia and in Greece. It goes back to Indo-European times, like 6,000 BC. But the problem is that it never is linked to any quantification. It doesn't give any duration. So the idea of that duration, in my opinion, is not older than the first centuries AD. And they are a function of the newly discovered precessional cycle, which is not known since before 173 BC. Therefore, I think that the ages of the centuries or the millennia before are largely imaginary. You see, are a projection of some imaginative mathematical construction. They are not based on anything. You see, you can't run into anything in space that defines the Kali Yuga or the Dwapara Yuga. So you see, I'd rather look for these chronologies unfettered by the notion of the 4 world ages. I mean to say that the world will not be touched by Kali Yuga as long as the feet of Krishna walk upon it. That simply means, that's something you say in praise of someone. Oh, you see, the light of the world is here and so on. And when he dies, oh, it's darkness, like Nehru said in his speech about the death of Mahatma Gandhi. Oh, the light has gone out, blah, blah, blah. Now, you see, that's a figure of speech, that's poetry. That doesn't mean that there is some specific year in which Kali Yuga will start and in which Krishna will die. So you see that question, you see, if it is not the 6th millennium BC, then you see, okay, it's earlier, but it's still rather widely open.
I want to tell my opinion, sir. Sir, there are more than 2 lakhs inscriptions in our nation, India. And our ancestors, right from the beginning of the Kali Yuga, Kali 600, there are manuscripts. Kali 2000, that is 3,000 years before, there are inscriptions. My ancestors are not fools. They are not false believers. I cannot accept. Because the most intelligent race in the entire world is our ancestors. They know everything. They produce thousands and thousands of literature that are even now, nobody can equate anything equal to Bhagavad Gita. So that much intelligent race is there. So our kings, our dynasty people, our Senapatis, our common people are not fools to continuously write more than 3,000, 4,000 years, the number of years in Kali Yuga. So it definitely showed Kali Yuga at present is 5,123. Even almanacs are there. Even 1,000 years before almanac are there, which mentions Kali Yuga number of days. So that is not, we cannot reject. That large volume of evidence, more than 2 lakh, 3 lakh evidence, we cannot just omit and say that we cannot accept. See, initially, this calendar, they told that in the world began in 4004 BC only. But it is outdated. Now scientifically proved there are fossils more than millions and millions of years. 30 million, 40 million, 100 million. So why cannot be Rama be some 8 lakhs, 9 lakhs years before? Now 30 million, 40 million, even 1 crore years before millions are available. Now fossils are available. Now they have found out dinosaurs. Even Ramayana mentioned an elephant with 4 tusks. That exists some millions of years before, not now. So that elephant with 4 tusks, that was not there in world some 4 or 5 million or 10 million, 20 million years before. They lost. So Ramayana in Sundarakanda, when Hanuman went to Sri Lanka, he see that many elephants with 4 tusks are protecting in the front of fort. So that is there. There are evidence for that lakhs and lakhs of years before Rama. See, during Ramayana, now there's Vanara. Monkeys are not talking. We cannot find in the entire world the talking monkeys, speaking monkeys.
Sure.
But in Ramayana, there are there. So there would have existed a race, a monkey race, that can easily talk like human beings. That was eliminated like dinosaur or elephant with 4 tusks. So it is a very, very ancient period, the remotest antiquity period. See, our ancestors are not fools to believe false things. They are highly intelligent people. They wrote everything correctly. And what Kali Yuga 4,64,032 lakhs years is 4,32,000 is correct. See, many astronomical texts. We can see from Surya Siddhanta to Aryabhatta and Laghu Bhaskarian and Mahabhaskarian, Siddhanta Shiromani, every astronomer wrote this period. Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. So they cannot, these astronomers, they even Surya Siddhanta mentioned how the Grahana, eclipse happens. Because like a cloud, the moon is hiding the sun. That is solar eclipse. The moon is entering the shadow of the earth. That is lunar eclipse. How brilliantly they have told in the astronomical text. If you read Surya Siddhanta and Aryabhatta, you will be astonished. But I am thinking high of you because you are working for our nation, for our dharma. So that's why I worshipped you. So please understand, sir, this nation is a great nation. Highly intelligent people are our ancestors. So what they have written, what they inscribed is absolutely correct. That is my opinion, strong and concrete opinion on my nation.
Well, that your nation is a great nation, that is at least one thing we can certainly agree on. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for agreeing.
So I have 3 questions. The first one is about a rumor, which I'm not sure whether I should ask now, but what I heard is that during the Muslim invasion to Tamil Nadu, the folks that looks after the Panjagam didn't manage to do certain observations and do corrections in their Panjagam, and therefore there was some disturbance in the 400 years. So, and I know that in your slide you mentioned you used literature, inscription, and almanac. So I would like to get your clarification pertaining to that, whether that happens or not. That's the first one. The second one is actually what Dr. Els already mentioned about Mr. Digit's estimation about 1,700 BCE. I noticed that in your slide, you mentioned anything 2,500 BCE, and after will not fit the inscriptions that we have found. So basically, before digits or year, I sort of have less confusion, because we know that it's mostly about 3,000 BCE, and then the furthest it goes up to 5,561 BCE from NSG. So now after we have this another date, 1700 BC, it's sort of like, it just makes me more confused. I mean, given I'm just a layman. So when would this discussion would be settled? You think? I know most of the scholars have agreed on 3000 BCE, including Mr. Vedvir Arya. So I would just like to get your opinion. When would that, you think, would we see any light on that? Or you think this will be a continuing discussions? So that's a second question. The third one is about the Ramayana. I listened to your earlier talks in Sangam where you did mention that it's difficult to date Ramayana because it goes too far back in time, and it will be difficult for us to accurately estimate the time. Therefore, you mentioned we can best understand the timeline of Mahabharata, but Ramayana is just too far back in time. So I would like to just know whether you still think it is the case, or have you changed your opinion?
First of all, that's almanac. This almanac was issued throughout our nation. See, Assam was not in any Mughal rule. Completely, Aurangzeb was defeated in Assam. Assam came only under the British rule, not in Mughal rule or any other rule. Assam was totally free. And the same way, many parts of our nation were free. So these almanacs, they continuously, consistently corrected. So that's why Dirik Kanita has come. Previously, Vakya Panchanga based on Karana text, Karana calculation, they calculated. Dirik Kanita means observation, observatory astronomy, based on observation. So they continuously corrected these things. Only after independence, 1955, the calendar committee came, they only confused. Before that, it is absolutely correct. See, I know people, when I was a young boy, those who are 80 years, 90 years, on seeing the sky itself, they will say, what is the nakshatra today? Everything they will tell. Now, no person can, we will believe only astronomic observatory or telescope. In those days, they will clearly mention, this is Shukra, this is Buddha, clearly mentioned. Buddha is in this Rasi, in this Nakshatra, just observing during the cloudless night. In Amavasya day, they will tell clear. So that is the thing. So there are experts and highly knowledgeable. Even observation itself, they can correct almanac. So that is the first question. Almanacs, only after calendar committee, they fixed the precision of equinox this much during 1955 or something. Mana Saga is the chair. So that is the problem. After that, only problem. And now all almanac are compiling software, applying the precision degree, they are calculating, giving Nirayana. So that is not correct. So that is lacking. Now only it is become a problem, not before that. Even during Mughal rule, even during British rule, it is not a problem. The second question is, I forgot the second. I will first answer Ramayana. See, Ramayana happened at the fag end of Dwapara Yuga. If you go number of years back, you cannot get the evidence. See, for inscriptions on stone, any building, the building life is at the maximum 1500 years or at the maximum 2000. Before that, it will collapse. Even if they maintain 1500. When there is a foreign invasion and they destroyed many temples, and also we have no time to maintain. So those buildings collapse. That's why you can find more number of inscriptions in southern India, that to Tamil Nadu than North Bharat, because there is more destruction, less maintenance. So any stone inscription, if it is on the rock for Asoka Siddhi, it will be there because rock stands forever, but not the stone construction. So even copper plate has wear and tear. Even paper manuscript worse than that. So they have to continuously copy. See, I have found out more than 33 inscriptions that were re-inscribed at a later date because there is damage or reconstruction of the temple from brick structure to stone structure, like that. So even for 2000, 3000 years itself, we are lacking much. Why there is a huge variation of Mahabharata date? Because it happened 5000 years. So Ramayana happened lakhs and lakhs of years. I was told that elephant with 4 tusks and speaking monkeys, these races, these Jivarasi has eliminated totally. So it is a very ancient, remotest antiquity period. There is only one possibility. If you do any carbon dating at Setu, Ramasetu, there may be a scientific analysis that may give result to Ramayana period. And I have answered second question. Why I have there is no inscription that were dated 1500 before Kali Yuga. For that, I have the life period of the stone structure. I got it. Second thing, even many scholars asked this thing. So I have found out now a copper plate, which I have a photocopy. And a stone inscription, I have a photocopy. I have an estimate. That is Kali Yuga 2000. Pallava inscription, Trinetra Pallava from Kanji. So it is in Andhra Pradesh. The stone is still existing. It is re-inscribed inscription. This copper plate is existing. So I have found out more than 8 to 10 inscriptions that were dated more than 1,500 years. And there are many manuscripts. I have told Dr. Buchanan's book. In that, if you read, there are many manuscripts that were dated in Kali Yuga 600. And archaeology, they have not done anything much. And based on the Ramayana textbook of Jijit, it is only, it is not finding out the date. It is mainly concerned with the land or some other. It is not concerned with date. So I have shown in my slide why date after 2500 BCE is totally incoherent. If you apply any date after 2500, then we should accept that we are living under Vijayanagara Empire, Bahmani Sultan Empire, and Muhammad bin Tughlaq Empire. It is not Narendra Modi. Then again, you got to understand. There is a gross chronological incoherence with that.
So one last question from my end.
Okay, please,
I just wanted to know the significance of the chariots that were found in Sanoli around 2018. Also, like a very basic question, since you're an archaeologist and a historian, what is the credibility of an archaeological finding as opposed to an inscriptional finding or an epigraphic finding?
See, in Sinoli, they found out a chariot, horse-driven chariot. So this shows before 2200 BC, there were chariots in our nation. So there exists a civilization that was before 2200 that can use horse and chariot. That much civilized society was there. So that proved. So now people are told in 2000 before, we are all not living civilized people like that. So Mahabharata, so civilized society, we cannot accept. So that was totally eliminated by that. And I want to tell you this, another question is important question. See, in archaeology, they will give only range. In geology, 1000 years means archaeology, 300 years, 400. Even if it is carbon dating or thermoluminescence, it can give only range. But inscription will give exact date. I go so even number of Kali days, even single day, it will give clearly. And it is inscription is most reliable because it is inscribed on the temple wall. Any common people go and watch whether the king gave a false claim, false date or not. And if there is an alteration in that, we can easily find out. So nobody can alter, and the king or anybody who give the inscription, inscribe, we have to maintain correct data because people are watching. It is a common place. It is given in the common place. It is obvious and exact. So inscription is the better thing. After that, we can say literature and archaeology. Last only geology and genetic studies is worst thing because genetic sample, we have to take at least 15 to 20% of the people. If there is 100 crore people in our nation, we have to take sample of 20 crore people. Is it possible? So, and there are genetic characters, are thousands and thousands of characters. If you take 10 characters, it will match. If you say uniovular twin, if you take some 10 characters, we can say they are both different. And if you take another 10 characters, an African citizen and Indian citizen, you can say they are both twins. So what character we take, that depends. So best thing is inscription. That is my conclusion.